Well, good morning and welcome to this Matrix webinar. This is going to cover how to use the map for searching for listings. Instead of searching for, like a city or a zip code or subdivisions, a pick list, I want to show you how you can draw your own shape by using a map. I think this is probably one of the most powerful tools, and it's very underutilized, I believe. Either people are just intimidated by, trying to draw a shape, or just don't realize that it is a better, more accurate way, because listings typically are mapped right. It's usually when a realtor types in, accidentally puts it in the wrong city or zip code or subdivision, things like that. And every MLS is different, because some MLSs have like a pick list of cities you can choose from, but other MLSs actually say, you actually spell the name out of the city or subdivision. And whenever you spell things can always be, typed wrong or entered wrong. So I do put that little disclaimer there that it really depends on each location, each MLS, how they do this. And some MLSs, use area numbers also. So it fluctuates, but by and far, what I've seen across the country is people that go out and actually pinpoint an area and draw it with a shape usually have more accurate results, because that way doesn't matter what the realtor typed in. We're going by the geocoding of where the listing is actually located. Now, with that said, listings can be mapped wrong too. So no matter which way you go trying to search for listings, there's always issues and problems, out there. So there's no guaranteed way, but probably one of the best ways is to do a search, for yourself, search an area that you know pretty well. And one, you do the city field, pick a city, by the pick list, and then do the same thing by zip code, and then do a shape by the, draw a shape on the map and see which ones you're getting more results on, and see which ones you feel more comfortable getting. Because at the end of the day, you want the most results and you want to feel good about those listings that you're finding there too. So we'll go through several different ways of drawing shapes on a map to draw and search, but we'll also give you driving directions. Since we're talking about maps, why not show you the driving directions features, which, a lot of people probably don't know about also. So it'll guide you to each listing route, give you a route to getting to each property there. So we'll get started. And by the way, my name is Keith Hensley. I'm with CoreLogic. I'm coming to you from Grand Rapids, Michigan. If you've been on some of these webinars before, I was in Dayton, Ohio. I just recently moved up here to Grand Rapids, so I'm the same person. So if you just happen to see that and thinking, there's another Keith Hensley with CoreLogic, but he was from Dayton, Ohio. So it's the same person. I just relocated here. Okay, let me close this down here. Okay. This is your matrix system. You should be seeing matrix now for your Williamsburg multiple listing service. And where I want to get started at is searching by the map. So when you hover over the search here, you're going to choose your property type. And I'm just going to, it doesn't matter right now, I'm just going to choose a residential, probably the full field here. But one of the things here as you're searching here, like I was just saying, what you could do is you could do a zip code that you're familiar with. Type in a zip code. Now, I don't know a lot of zip codes in that area, but what you could do is a search by a zip code. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pick Williamsburg here and go to results. And I'm just going to pull up a listing or two and just see what the zip codes are, just to get familiar with this area here. 23185, 23185. So I'm going to use that zip code. So I'm going to take that out. So I'm going to do 23185. Okay. I got 185 matches there. So when I go to results here, I want to go to map here. So now when I go to map, I want to show you this also. It's not really drawing a shape on the map. First of all, I want to make this map a little bigger. See all these tabs here at the top? I'm going to do an F11, that button on your keyboard at the top that says F11. Kind of stretches it. See the F11 button? It just stretches it. F11 again pulls it back, F11 again. As you notice what it did, it just got rid of those toolbars at the top. And then to get it back, either F11 or hit that X there, and they come right back again. But F11 just kind of stretches this map out a little wider for us to see, make it a little easier. Here at the top, you'll notice we have a radius or a circle we can draw for shapes. We can draw a rectangle, we can draw a polygon, or a freehand tool you can draw. That's to clear your shapes, which we don't have any shapes on here. But this next one I want to show you is layers. Okay, this kind of really help us here with drawing and knowing our area. So I want to turn on areas, and one of the areas I want to turn on is zip code one, because remember, all these listings should be in that zip code 23185, I believe. Yes. Okay. So when I click on it, you'll notice I cannot choose zip code because it says zoom in. I need to zoom in just a little bit more here. So if I zoom in just a bit more, now when I go up here, now I can turn on zip codes. When I do that, you can see, and let me turn this off, 23185 is right here. So all these listings should be within that zip code there. So all I'm doing right now is I just want to get comfortable. You know, are these listings accurate? And you can even zoom in, look at this. You can see the zip code boundary kind of changes right there. I don't know if that's real or if there's a problem with the zip code boundary lines here, the layers. Maybe it meant to go up here a little bit more to include this entire area right here. So maybe it's off just by a little bit there, because according to that, this listing should be in 23188. So so these zip code, these boundary lines are good, but please don't, you know, they're not 100% accurate and tried and true and all that stuff. So still take some caution with that there. But so far, it looks pretty good. It looks like we got every listing in that zip code there. Now, I don't want to try to retrace this shape here by doing a polygon, because as you can see, that's a pretty complicated shape there. But I'd like to know, I'd be kind of interested in knowing if I did draw a shape and got rid of this zip code number, how accurate would it be? Would I get more results or less results there based off this map? I can even click on, I got 184. I can even add coming soon. And I got 3 more listings. I can even add solds in the last 180 days. And I can even add pending and 685. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want more recent listings and just to see if they're all within the zip code. And it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. Looks like there's not a lot of listings that fall out of that area there. So like I said, again, I just want to build confidence. Oop, there's one right here. See, 23188. Let's kind of go in more here. That one there, it kind of makes me feel like maybe that's not in the same zip code. Now it could be wrong. The layers could be wrong, but this one here, if I click on it, oh, actually, let me go back here. You can see right here, 23185 is what it says, but it's showing in here. So is that Strawberry Plains Road? Let me just see here. Strawberry Plains Road. So it does look like it's on the right road. And watch this. If I click on that little house there, that little pin, pulls it up. That's the listing. But watch this. If I click off of it, like right here, I can open up, oh, I'm sorry, that's the parcel. There we go. There's the listing, there's the tax. Let's see what the tax says. This will just show us what your tax program says it is. And here it's saying it's 23188. Okay. So if I'm looking at this correctly, they said, okay, see the tax record does say 88, but the listing, let me click on it, the listing said 85, didn't it? Okay, so that's just one little example that if I search by that zip code, I may not get accurate listings. And I will say this looks pretty good compared to what I'm used to seeing. I'm used to seeing listings all over the place by doing this. So if I would have drawn a a shape around the zip code, I would not have gotten that listing, which it shouldn't be because it's not in that zip code according to the tax records or the map. So simple mistakes like that do happen, and I just kind of want to show you that's one reason why you might want to do shapes out there. So just a thought that might be ways to go back and forth, but vice versa too. I could draw a shape around there and might not got one that should have been in there. So so I'm just kind of hopefully helping you understand that you could have varying results based on how you search for stuff there. Okay, we'll get into this a little bit more. Let me show you the map, the radius search here. There's some cool features in here. Some of them are really new out here. I don't know if you've ever done this, but we've always had the ability to go in and pick how many miles you want, and then you type in your address. How far away from a location do you or your client wants to live? Or if you're doing a CMA, maybe you want to do things within a half mile or a mile of the subject property. That way you're getting only listings rather close to that house there. Well, something else I want to show you is, well, let's say you want to let's say Lisa and her husband Mike wants to buy a house, but they want to live close to where they work. Well, what you could do is you could pick your radius, but then, okay, let's say Lisa's a teacher at the middle school, Berkeley Middle School there in town. So what you could do is type in the address. Well, I don't know the address for Berkeley Middle School. Well, I can go out and look it up, but watch this. If I just type in Berkeley Middle School, okay, as I'm starting to do this, look, it says, did you mean Ironbound Road, Williamsburg, Virginia? Well, that I think that's the right one. I just didn't know the address, but that's it. So you just start typing, and as soon as you go in, sometimes like if I did Walmart, well, let's say Mike works at Walmart. So if I type in Walmart, well, there's a lot of Walmarts out there. It's not the one in Midlothian there. It's in Williamsburg. And then, well, now there's two in Williamsburg, Virginia. Is it the one on Casey Road or Rochambeau? I hope I pronounced that right, Rochambeau. So I just pick which one I believe it to be, and then I click on it. So sometimes you do have to type in a city and state out there if it's a popular area. But you can do lots of businesses out there, high schools, hospitals, parks, things like that. You can even do an intersection, if you know the intersection out there. So that's where Mike works at, is Walmart. So I do 2 miles of Walmart. And if I click on this map search right here, or the map tab up here, it's going to show me 2 miles of that Walmart there. Okay. Well, let's say Lisa works right over in here in downtown, well, at the middle school there. So what I could do is go to here where it says jump to address. If I open this up, I can jump right to a location if I want to. But I'm going to go up here, and I don't know the address, so I'm going to type in that Berkeley Middle School. Now on here, it doesn't pop up with that did you know, but this should still work. So if I type in Williamsburg, let's just see what happens there. Yep, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it right there. Okay, so that's where she works at. So let me go on back out. It looks like they work pretty close together there. So usually 2 miles won't be bad. So this one's not that far off from each other. I was hoping it'd be over here a little bit more. But if I go in and let's say I do 2 miles from where she works at, right there, okay. So it's pretty close. They're living pretty close together. And let me do my F11 again, okay. So those are not drastic cases there that they're so far apart. So, but that's how I've got 2 searches. But you notice these listings are farther than the 2 miles that are from Walmart. But these are 2 miles from Walmart, but they're a little bit outside of her radius that she wants. Okay. Not a big deal, I know, but just imagine the radius being much bigger and spaced out here. In fact, let me get rid of her shape here real quick. Let's just pretend her shape was like right in here somewhere. So if I come over here and make this 2 miles, oop, not that far out. So now the difference is a little bigger. These listings here are much farther away than 2 miles, and these listings are much farther away than 2 miles from her work there. But what you can do, this is one of the newer features I want to show you, that once you draw your two shapes there, actually, you know what? I apologize. You don't have this new feature yet. It's when you hover over these either shape there, you should have a new feature coming very, very soon. And I apologize. I thought it was already here. It should be here very, very soon. But when you hover over one shape or the other, when you have shapes overlapping each other, like I do, you will have a new one called include intersection right here. In fact, if you don't mind, since I didn't show you there, or can't show you in here, let me log into one other account real quick here, just to show you this. And I was logging to Dayton, Ohio, since I'm familiar with that one there. Okay, they have just a different color scheme, but it still works the same. Okay, so here, if I go in here and I draw a couple shapes, do one shape here and one shape here, because they overlap, when I hover over one, see where it says include intersection? When you click that, it only shows you ones where they both are happy, where they both intersect at. And if I draw a third shape, it's still going to include only where all three shapes intersect at. You notice where before I had some listings down here, but now that there's a third shape, it doesn't include that. So I think that's really cool. Okay, so you can just hover over either one. So that's something to look forward to. You don't have it yet. Okay, so it's something that's that will be there for you. And let's see if I can get rid of that marker there, just to make sure. I didn't know if by having that marker, I didn't know. Okay, there we go. So you still don't have it yet, but it should be a feature coming very, very soon. I love doing that for a CMA. Okay, because if I was doing a CMA and I drew a radius of the subject property, well, sometimes the subject property changes as it gets to a different location there. So what you can do is just, kind of eliminate an area. Let me F11 again. So for example, if I was doing a CMA and I found a property here, what you could do is say, well, everything along this border here, let me kind of go up here. Everything right in here is not the same neighborhood. It changes right here. So what you can do is kind of just zigzag through and find an area where it changes. So I wanted within 2 miles, but not this part over here. So if I hover over this, I can say exclude listings in that shape. So when I'm doing a CMA, I can say, you know what, that's really not, maybe I messed up on my shape. I can come over here and just get this much better. So I have a much more accurate shape there. And maybe I can pull this down there, okay? So even this, you can see it is pretty good, pretty cool. Actually kind of fun to do sometimes here. Okay. See, and maybe it should come down here on this Richmond Road here. And okay, so yeah, you can just play with this and get this really tweaked just the way you like it there. Okay. Let's say, let me go back. Let's kind of refresh this here. Let's say I search a neighborhood or a subdivision all the time, and I want to draw a shape, but I don't want to have to draw that shape all the time, every time I come in and do a search. So what I can do is I can go to search again, and instead of doing a subdivision, let's say it's not really a subdivision. Let's say it's a location that's not really a zip code because it's part of a zip code. It's not really a city or county because it's part of a city or county. It's not really the entire And if you guys have examples for me, please let me know, and I can do this here. But it's really not a city or county or zip code or subdivision. It's more of a neighborhood, if you will. It's not, the only way really you can do it is by defining it on the map. So if you go into the map here, and you drill down to your area here, what you can do is try to find that location that you want to duplicate. And just for lack of knowledge, since I don't know, let's say this little area down here is just really, really gorgeous to live in, okay? In fact, look at the prices of those houses. It looks like they're pretty nice houses there. But let's say that was given a certain name out there. Let's say it was called the Landing, okay? And here's my ignorance because I don't have any examples of this, but this whole area is known as the Landing. It's not a subdivision, it's not a zip code, it's a special area that people, you know, when they move into town and if they can afford it, this is where they like to live. So since I cannot just easily pick a city or subdivision or zip code to do it, I'm gonna have to, you know, draw a shape around it. So I'm going to come up and do my polygon here. Now be careful with this freehand polygon, because this one here, you draw it. You hold down your mouse and you actually draw. So unless you have steady hands, or if you're using a computer or an iPad or something that, you know, you have a finger, you can just use your finger and draw it there. But I'm not that good or stable, so I'm going to come up to this other polygon one. And this is just basically click the dot. So click, 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 click. So it doesn't really matter where I click here. And let's say this little inlet of water is the dividing line here. I'm going to come up, and in this, it hugs Route 5 here. And this is what they call the Landing, or what I'm going to pretend is called the Landing. Okay, that's a special neighborhood that I specialize in. I know that area. I live in there or sell a lot of houses in there. And usually when people come into town and they look, you know, call me up, this is one of the locations they want to live in. Okay. So now I spent that time, and it didn't take me that long to do. Okay. It really didn't. It just took me a few minutes, but you get the point. I don't want to have to draw that shape all the time. Okay. So all I did was, when I came in here, I wanted active listings, maybe even coming soon. That way, just in case there is a coming soon listing, I'll see it. And maybe these houses are detached. And yes, they are. And maybe they're not condos, but fee simple. Okay, now you notice I didn't lose any matches here. So I've got fee simple, I got detached, coming soon, active, but I drew a shape there. There it is. Now I want to save this as a default search. So that way I don't have to keep doing this all the time. It's going to be one of my templates, if you will. And I can go to results, and here they are. Either results tab, I can hit save, or on the map, I can hit save. But when I'm ready, I have this, and I have no, you notice I have no price range, no bedrooms, no bathrooms, nothing else in here. Just a location and the type of search, with the property type. So I just want to save it. So when I come down here, I got 3 options to save it. I don't want to save it as a new auto email. New auto emails are automatic emails. They're prospecting emails. That's typically for a client. Well, this is not for a client. It's for a potential client. When they call me in, I just want to have a quick access to click on it and go and see the results there. So in that case, I want to save it as a new saved search. I will save it as a speedbar shortcut here in a minute, but I want to save it as a new saved search. Now that I save it as a saved search, it's not auto prospecting, so I'm just going to give it a name. I'm going to call it the Landing. I like to put in parentheses map, just so that way when I see this, I know it's a map that I drew. It's just my way of telling myself, or reminding myself, that I actually drew a map there. Is it for a client? No. Do I have to pick a client? No. If I said auto email, I would have had to pick a client in here, but it's not for a client. But I do want to enable this as a favorite search on my home tab. and I can do up to 10 total. So I'm gonna check mark it there, okay? Here's my criteria that I did. That's what I want to save. There's my map that I drew right there. Now I just hit save, okay? So now whenever I log into Matrix, Bob or Larry or Sally or Susan call me up and they say, Keith, I want to, well, me and my wife, we're looking for listings in the landing and stuff. Can you help us out? Sure, absolutely. So all I have to do is right here in my favorite searches is click on the one, the landing. Just click on it and boom, there they are. There's 37 listings in there. See, I don't have to draw the map. My criteria is already set with this, so it's a template for me, okay? Now all I have to do is ask them, okay, what's your price range? Well, we want something, you know, between 800 and $1 million, okay? Well, there's 4 listings there. If I go back to the results, there they are. If I go to map, there's where they're mapped at. Maybe they want $1 million plus. I'm just kind of curious now, how many listings $1 million plus in there? 8 listings. Okay, yeah, that's what they want. It's got to have at least 4 bedrooms though, 4 or more. It's got to have at least, with that much money, better have at least 3 or more bathrooms. Okay, and they do. They all have 8. So this one time, I'm adding to his criteria or to that search. And now when I go to save it for Bob or Susan or Sally or Larry or whoever, I don't want to update my search called the landing. That's my starting point. That's my template. Now I want to save it as a new auto email. So now that just saved me a lot of time. I didn't have to draw that shape and I didn't have to add all this other stuff. All I had to do is add his personal criteria. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you. Now, what I could have done, remember when I went to save, and let me go back out. Let me pull up the landing again. And I didn't realize, I must have done this the other day. I did one called the Meadows. I'm not sure if who was on that call there, but this is an area of town I kind of said was the Meadows, and I was just pretending that there was listings there. So I'd actually done this the other day. But let me go back to the landing. So when I entered that criteria and I drew the map, and remember I said I hit save, I saved it as a save search. But what I could have also done is saved it as a new speed bar shortcut also. And by doing that, now I can give it a name. Now remember, it's a speed bar. It's meant for quick, fast stuff. So you don't want to name it really, really long. You want to keep it rather short, but yet you want to remember it. It always starts with a slash there. And the reason why it starts off with the slash is because if we didn't have a slash there, and I just called this landing or the landing, then it would think it's a street name or it's a city name or a county name or something like that. So in here, that's why we need that little slash. So we'll call, I'll just call it landing. That's it. There's my criteria and I'll save it. The name conflicts with another speed bar. Really? Another, huh. I don't see it because I got these 2 down here. That's weird. Slash landing. Let's try this again. Yeah, okay. I'll call it landing 2. No, I'll call it the landing. How about that? That's weird. Landing. Now you cannot put spaces in here. If you try to do the landing, it'll give me an error problem too. See, cannot have the space in there. The landing. So there we go. I hit save, and now it's saved. So what that enables me to do, all I have to do now when they call, instead of using this, I can just go up here and do slash the landing, enter, and boom, automatically. Now there's benefits to both. This one, I actually have to remember what I called it, okay? This one right here, I don't have to because it's right there. But my problem with this one is I only have 10 of them total. And once I run our room, then, you know, I kind of have to, you know, do something else or do one up here. But what's nice about this one here is I can hit update all, and it shows me how many new matches since the last time I did this. Okay, well, there's no new listings for the landing just because I just ran it. Same thing with the Meadows. I just ran that one too. There's nothing new. But my special place, there's 4 new ones since the last time I ran it. If I click on it, there they are. There's the new one. And there's my special place. And there's the criteria that I have for it. So they both have benefits. So that's the benefit of a favorite search, but you're limited to the number here. And you can hit manage, and manage just allows you to go in and change the criteria, look at the results, go to settings, do a market update, delete it, things like that. That's all that does there. But the benefit of having it up here is, yeah, you have to remember it, but watch this. I can do the landing, but then I can do a space, 4 plus 2 plus space $sign $1 million or more. Okay, because it's a speed bar. These things right here are part of the speed bar that you can do. So it not only runs my criteria that I have here, but it also ran this extra stuff that I did. 4 or more bedrooms, 2 or more baths with $1 million or more. So so if I look at the map, you'll see it's still got the map because that's part of the landing. You can look at my criteria, which is coming soon, active, fee simple, and detached, because that's part of the landing. But this part over here wasn't part of the landing. I just added that on the fly in this one there. So that's the benefit to that. So they can have their pluses and minuses each way you go. But like I said, you forget what that is. But if I go up to my matrix, I can click on my speed bar shortcuts, and it'll tell me which ones I've got. And see, I don't have one called landing. So I don't know why I got that error message there. So, okay. So you can always check on it and delete it. You can always click on it here, which takes you back in. Now I can make changes to it and save it if I need to. Okay. Any other questions searching wise? Searching by map especially. Map is, and I do want to just show you this as I zoom in here a little bit. As I get to a certain level and I go back to that layers, yeah, I can turn on the county layers, the school district layers, the neighborhood layers, okay. Also have points of interest. So here I have to zoom in, but if I zoom in a little bit more, I can turn on points of interest like fire stations, food and dining, gas stations, post office, and all kinds of stuff. So as I zoom in, now you can kind of see, and if I click on it, you can see what these stores are. And that might help you a little bit too when drawing shapes out there. But I'll just go in here and clear all. Okay. Driving directions now. Let me pull that shape back up called the landing. Once I go to results, and if I find a bunch of listings, let's say I want to go show them to, was it Lisa and Mike? So now I just go and check off some listings that they told me they like, and 5 of them's good. Well, down here, you got save, you got cards, you got refine, you got actions. So what I want to do here, I don't want to email. Let's say I already did email it to them. Now they come back and they said, hey, can we go look at those houses? So I go to driving directions. Kind of curious, has anyone ever used the driving directions before down here? So what you can do here is just pick those 5, hit directions, and it puts it automatically in the best driving order for you there, okay? Now, you can still grab them and move them up, move them down, and you can still put them in your own order if you like. And if you do rearrange it your way, you'll have to hit directions again to recalculate it. Okay, now it just recalculated. And now if you come down here, now you can see a turn by turn by turn by turn, how many miles, how the distance, and how many minutes it takes you to drive by all those houses. Okay, now that's just starting at the first house in the list if we meet there. And then it stops us at the last house, and then we're on our own. But you can add a stop right here. You can say, I want to add a stop. Let's call this one my office, okay? Let's say my office was, I don't know if I can do that Walmart address again. Let me do Walmart Williamsburg. Just because I don't have an address there. Williamsburg, VA. Let's see if it'll find it there. Looks like it did. Yeah. Okay. So there's my office. My office is at Walmart. I want to add a stop now. We'll add my office again. We make it a round trip. My office. Walmart. Williamsburg. VA. And stop. Okay. So it looks like it's going to have a round trip. So now if I hit directions again, it'll have me starting there, going to there, and then back to there again. And see, now there's from my office to the first house, second house, third house, fourth house, and then back to my office. So the total distance is 30.6 miles, estimated time 58 minutes, and I can email this to the client or print this out and use it there. So I really think that's cool. And like I said, remember, you can just grab them and rearrange the order, put them in the order that you like. But if you do, you just hit the directions again to recalculate it there. I can even add another location. Let's say halfway through, we want to stop at McDonald's and talk about it. I'm a big spender, so I like to buy my clients a cup of coffee at McDonald's every time we show, halfway through. So I'll say McDonald's, Williamsburg. Actually, what area is this? Is there a better area? There's McDonald's. Oh well. Or I can go in here and, you know, I don't have my, yeah, I do have my interest here. Let's go into points of interest. Let's find a food and dining. Oop, I gotta zoom in more. Let's go food and dining. Here we go. Is there a restaurant nearby here? Oop. Keep zooming out. There we go. Close this down. Kind of wish you could zoom out a little bit more on those boundaries lines there. But yeah, I'm just kind of curious if there's a restaurant around here we could stop at. I would think there'd be one maybe down. Well, it's probably all residential down there. Yeah. Okay. Anything up in here? Okay. But you get the point. So I could add a another stop and put it halfway in between there. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Anything else? I hope you guys learned something from this. I hope it's was beneficial. Okay. Okay. Everyone's kind of quiet today, but that's all right. Okay. Well, I hope you guys are doing good, and hope you have a great rest of your week and weekend too. So look forward to more webinars, and feel free to reach out and with any questions. You should probably get a welcome or a thank you for attending this. So you can always reply to it if you have questions on it, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have for us. All right, thanks.